Kaizen isn't just about efficiency. When done right, it makes people's work lives better too. And really that's the point. Improvement starts with employees, but only succeeds when leaders don't just push change from the top. They actively support it from the ground up. And that's the why. That's why ignoring your team doesn't work. But what does an effective improvement cycle actually look like? Now, let's zoom out for a moment and talk about the Kaizen cycle itself. At a high level, it's pretty straightforward. You start by getting employees involved. You gather a list of problems. You encourage them to come up with solutions. You test those solutions, measure the results, adopt what works, and then you repeat that cycle again. That's the Kaizen cycle. Now, most of you watching have seen this diagram maybe even dozens of times before. It's really the classic improvement loop. But here's the catch. The step that trips leaders up more than any other is that very first one. Get employees involved. And not just at the start, but at every stage of the process. And that's where many leaders misunderstand their role. Your role as a leader isn't to do the change yourself. Your role as a leader is to facilitate change, to create the space, the safety, and the support that your team needs to drive the improvements themselves. So the problem isn't understanding what Kaizen is. The problem leaders struggle with is figuring out how to involve their teams effectively and how to support them so the changes actually stick. And that's the challenge. It's not an insignificant one. Because without leadership involvement, without your visible support, and without real recognition of your employees' contributions to the effort, the cycle will eventually collapse. That's inevitable. The truth is, people won't buy into a lean program just because it's announced. People don't respond to a pretty sign. They buy in when they see their leaders actively walking the talk, listening, encouraging, and creating opportunities for them to succeed. It's not enough to understand the mechanics of Kaizen. Leaders need a clear way to think about their role in supporting it, a framework. Which brings us to the Kaizen leadership equation.